Good morning, everyone. This is Jeffy Kennedy, also writing as Jennifer K. Lambert, author of epic fantasy romance. I'm here with my first cup of coffee. Delicious. Today is, say it with me, people, it is Friday. Woohoo! It is May 23rd, 2025. And we're in a sequence of days. I didn't realize this until I saw it on Instagram, right? But like we're in a series of days where the date is the forward same and backwards. So 5/23/25, if you flip it around, it's 5/20. No, wait, that doesn't work, does it? Oh, it's just if you do 25s. Okay, let's try it again. 5/23/25, turn it around, and it is 5/23/25. And apparently it's been like that since the 20th, and it'll be that way until the 25th or something like that. So there you go. Now you know too. Let's see, if you're on video, you will see I'm not doing my usual cup of coffee. I've had kind of a busy morning, and I ran out to Clafoutis and got one of their amazing lattes. I think they have the best latte in Santa Fe. They certainly have the best pastries. So I may have had a margotine to celebrate my Friday morning. I am in the throes of furnishing the casita now, which everybody says, oh, this is the fun part. Spoiler, this is not the fun part. Why is furniture so expensive? It feels like it's so expensive for what you get. And I don't like shopping for furniture. I have never liked it, which is why all of our furniture is really old. So yeah, I did buy a pair of bar stools yesterday, and then I decided I don't like them, so I'm going to take them back. But at least I feel like I'm getting closer to what I want to get. Yeah. So it's been a good week. I've gotten a lot done on this project. The secret project. I'm enjoying writing it. I still have not gotten my edit letter at this point, seeing as how it's Memorial Day weekend here in the United States, which means that nothing will happen until at least Tuesday and probably after that, because they have to get in the office Tuesday and do things. Even though I've taken a whole lot of time off lately, I'm seriously considering taking the 3-day weekend. I may not work on Monday, which, sorry, Mom, would mean that I wouldn't do a podcast on Monday, but I would just do it Tuesday. But yeah, I might just do the 3-day weekend and get stuff done in the garden. I need to get stuff done in the garden and landscaping, not to mention buying furniture. Did I mention buying furniture? Memorial Day weekend has the great virtue of being the time for all kinds of sales, like bedding sales and so forth, and I need to buy bedding. So, yeah, I think that's what I'm going to be doing. I even tried going to some consignment stores yesterday, which is where I got those bar stools, and the consignment stores are really expensive. Maybe this is what I get for living in Santa Fe. Anyway, I think I'm getting closer to knowing what I want, and maybe that's what it takes. All of these things take practice, and so far I've been hitting a high level of overwhelm, and having decision paralysis, which is totally unlike me, because usually I'm very decisive, which is probably why it's driving me up the frickin' wall to be indecisive. But I think it's partly because I don't shop for furniture, and so I just don't have. I was thinking about this yesterday as I was hitting overwhelm. That when we first moved to Santa Fe, and I was driving down Cerrillos and just sort of noting what are the new stores. When we first moved here, we had a really hard time finding things, and part of it is because Santa Fe is this historic city, and art and beauty are very important values here, which I love about the place. I love living in a place where Is it beautiful is one of the primary values, especially after living in Wyoming for so long, where something being beautiful is almost sneered upon as being frivolous and like anti-survival. It's that real frontier mentality. So it's like, make it a Quonset hut. And you say it in that voice too. So uh, a lot of the stores, there are very strict rules on signage. You can't have big blinking signs for things. And because of that, we had trouble finding stuff. Like I remember having a really hard time finding a dry cleaner. And like for no good reason, but like I was having to Google them, and then it would take me forever to like find them on the street. And as you all know, I'm a neurophysiologist, neuroethologist from way back. And neuroethology is the study of the senses, right? How we process sensory information in the brain. And one thing we talk about a whole lot is search image, that animals use search images to find what they are, to find prey or to find that fruit that they want, the banana in the tree. So if you imagine sort of the, like any cyborg movie you've seen where there's like the radar screen that goes in and goes boop, 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 and it shows the outline of the deer or something like that. We actually have that in our brains. Some of you may know that we have like face detectors in our brains. Well, we also have the ability to recognize certain search images. So when we're looking for something, we're actually looking for that search image. We have an idea of what the thing that we are looking for, what its shape is, what its outline is. Our eyes see outlines and our brains fill in the middle. So we might have an idea of the color. And so I knew at the time that part of the problem is that our search image was off, that we were looking for stores that looked a particular way. And because Santa Fe is so different that way, the city different is our motto, that our search image didn't fit. And so I could literally look straight at a dry cleaner and not recognize it for what it was. And sure enough, it took me a while, but like later I noticed I had been driving past a dry cleaner every day that was like in a old converted gas station, Adobe. And I had not recognized it for what it was because the sign was very small. And now, because I am so familiar with the city, though these almost 16 years later, I know what is familiar. I know what's been there a while, and I pick out new things very easily for what it's worth. And why did I get started on this? Oh, the boring topic of furniture shopping. Like I walk into these places where there's countless sofas and coffee tables and chairs and things stacked up everywhere. They're not actually stacked up, but it feels like it, and you have to wend your way through. And my brain keeps going, there's a couch, 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 there's a couch. And I feel like I have no ability to discern which couch is the one that could potentially be the one I want. And yeah, that's my overwhelm. But I think I'm getting better at it. So that's all a very long way of talking about a not very interesting topic, at least not to me. But writing wise, so this is interesting. I want to tell you all of this. The audiobook of Strange Familiar is available with an asterisk on that, a caveat. I don't know. This is hashtag symbol. How do I make an asterisk with my fingers like this, maybe? Except it's available on Audible and on Kobo, but Findaway Voices bounced it. And Findaway Voices is now Spotify. And so, like the distribution everywhere else, they've bounced it twice because they said that I submitted it as human narration, which it is, and that I need to re-upload the files and toggle it to digital narration, and that they only accept digital narration from certain trusted partners. And let me tell you what those are. Google Play Books or 11 Labs only. So this is what it says. Title is being submitted as a human narrated title. If the title is digitally narrated, this must be by a trusted partner, Google Play Books or 11 Labs only. To correctly upload this as a digital voice narration, you must remove the audio files currently uploaded, then use the toggle to switch from human narration to digital narration in the top right of the audio tab of the title's project page. You may then upload the LPF obtained. I don't even know what LPF stands for. Do they tell me? Obtained by Google Play Books or 11 Labs, and once it is uploaded successfully, you may resubmit as a digital voice narration project. Okay, so what do we notice about this email is it does not give me the option to say, but it is human narration, right? They're just like, oh no, you have to upload it as digital narration. So I contacted my very human narrator. I mean, it's good they're doing this, but geez, what a sucky system, right? And my very human narrator has contacted them. Her theory is that she has a very low noise floor. She lives in England. She lives in a rural village, and she has a soundproof studio on her property. And she has an exceptionally low noise floor, which I guess is like the background noise. And she said she has heard from other audiobook narrators that the lack of noise floor is like something the bots are using to, probably some form of AI is using to identify it as digital narration. And that she may, ironically enough, have to add a little bit of noise floor to convince people that she's human. And she's a wonderful voice actress. I mean, if you listen to my audiobooks in the Bonds of Magic world, she's great. She does not sound like AI. So interesting, huh? Well, here comes Killian to visit. Excuse me. Excuse me, you're in the way. You're in the way, baby. Now, get your butt out of the way. So, yeah, so that's been interesting. The other thing I want to talk about is just that how fast this secret project is going. It's more of a nonfiction, more of a memoir, narrative nonfiction thing, and I'm really enjoying writing it. And I'm writing it as I promised. I'm just doing 2,000 words a day, which is feeling very sustainable. I often get that done in like an hour and a half, which feels crazy. And it's giving me lots of time left in the day to handle business. So I'm actually getting caught up on things. And I'm enjoying working on the project. It's allowing me to process some stuff. And so that's great. But I've been thinking about this whole idea, right, of like working on what's presenting itself as opposed to like the book you're supposed to be writing. And many of you longtime listeners or people who follow me, that I mentor and so forth, you know that I am very big on, hey, oh, fly. I need to turn off my mouse and keyboard so he can't do that. There we go. Hi. Yeah, okay, there he goes. Chasing the fly still, which is a good thing for him to be doing. Sorry for the interruption there. So I've always been very big on completing the project I'm supposed to be working on, which is partly why I'm very good at meeting deadlines. And I am a pretty disciplined and ritualized writer that way. And I was thinking about when did I first develop those ideas? And I was remembering being a baby writer and I was in this writing group, and there was a gal in my writing group who was older than I, um, by a couple of decades at least, I think. And she had a published memoir, and she was like, and she'd won an award. And so she was like the most accomplished of the group. It's kind of funny to think about that I've like surpassed her success wise since then. But at the time, like she was my mentor. She was one of my mentors, and I wanted what she had. And I remember asking her one day, I was working on some project, and I had gotten an idea for something else, which we in the business often refer to as the new shiny or the plot bunny, the new thing we want to chase. And I asked, and it was a really shiny idea. I have no idea now what thing it was. But I said, should I chase this thing? Should I write this thing that's presented itself? Or should I keep working on this other project? And she said, well, that she thought I should keep working on the other project, which is frankly the advice that I would give 90% of the time, that I have given to many of you. And it is the right advice a lot of the time, because one of the great dangers, especially for newbie writers, is that you start things and you never finish anything. And we all know people like this. We've all been people like this, right? People who have 15 beginnings to various novels and have never finished one. And I do feel like it's very solid advice, especially if you're a brand newbie writer, that you have to finish a book, because you don't know what it's about until you're done. And I stand by that advice. But one thing I am learning, and maybe it's just like where I'm at in my career, but longtime listeners will know that when I wrote Never the Roses, that for a very long time I called it the book I wasn't supposed to be writing. There were two other projects I was supposed to be writing that I was not, because Never the Roses fell on me from out of the sky and insisted on being written. And I couldn't write anything else until I got that out of my head. So I didn't really have a choice. If I had been able to banish it and work on what I was supposed to, I would have. But no, that one just had to be written, which really doesn't happen to me very often. And right now, this book that I am writing, this secret project, who knows if I'll ever do anything with it, which is also how I felt about Never the Roses. And I think that that's key too. Uh, I just want to write it. And there is an ease and a flow to the thing I just want to write. I think also because it's removed from the pressure of that I need to create a specific thing and that there's an expectation for it, the intention of monetizing something. So I'm not sure what it means, but right now I'm incredibly fortunate that because I have this book deal with Tor, because we are financially stable in a way that we hadn't been for 15 years, that I can just write the thing that I want to write without worrying about how I'm going to use that thing to pay the mortgage, for example. So I guess that's the ideal. That's where we'd all like to be. And believe me, if you're sitting there going, I can't possibly afford to do that, I understand. I have been there. But this seems like such a great thing to aim for, right? To be in a place where you can write the thing that presents itself, that you feel like writing. It is it's much better energetically. I feel much less strained. Some of that could be the writing only 2,000 words a day. I do have to write Magic Reborn before the end of the summer. So that will be a book that I'm supposed to be writing. And we'll see if it's the word count or if I want to write it. It's not that I don't want to write it, but it's not presenting itself. Dark Wizard was another book that insisted on being written and was easy to write. And normally I don't try to attach much value to the books that just flow, that are easy to write, versus the ones that are tooth pulling, because I do think it's difficult to tell the difference when they come out in the end. But certainly experientially, as a creative process, it's so much better. All right. I hope you all have a great weekend. If it's a long weekend, enjoy it. And I will talk to you all on, let's commit to it now, Tuesday. You all take care. Bye bye.